again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games from the Game Pass collection, bringing you three unique perspectives from a varying skill range. I am your superior human this episode, Andrew. With me, our crash test dummy, Keith.
Oh, hello.
And the human that is always flat, Liz.
Hey guys.
And this week was Liz's pick.
Human fall flat.
You stole my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's human : fall flat.
Okay.
Like, as in like the parenthesis, not like a human : fall flat in it. So Liz, why did you pick human : fall flat?
I picked this game because we had played it a little bit a while back, and it was a really fun drinking game. And I was like, I wonder what it's like playing this when you don't drink. So, there you go.
But this game is a third-person physics-based puzzle game. So you essentially control each of your arms, and they suction to anything, which it even makes kind of a cool suction noise. And you essentially are just solving various puzzles on levels. And all the levels are kind of different themes. But you're basically just trying to figure out a way to get from point A to point B in a very goofy way. But this game is brought to you by No Breaks Games. I think this is actually their only project. But, Liz, starting off, was this a game or a pass for you? Did it hold up when it wasn't a drinking game?
So, for me, I really think that this is an amazing co-op game, but I don't enjoy playing it by myself. So, I wish I could split it and say game for co-op and pass for just myself.
You said you can't. This is America.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Live your
That's
own
my
truth,
answer.
Liz.
Keith, what about you?
I think this is a game. I agree it's not as fun when you're playing by yourself, but it's still actually it's a good game to just kind of pick up and put down. I kind of reminded me of, not in the same way, but in some ways of Talos Principle, and I thought it was a more fun version of it, kind of.
For me, this is actually a pass.
Oh, so we're kind of like...
Yeah, I mean, it first was a game for me. Like, I was like, this is hilarious, and I was having a lot of fun with it. But, like, it really just got really tedious. To me, it lost what made it special. Like, I felt like it was just a lot of things were just really repetitive. Like, there wasn't really too much being, like, added to the game that made it interesting. And honestly, some of the puzzles are just straight up work. And it's just like, okay, this is not fun. So, overall, this is a pass for me. I had fun with it, and there was moments where I was cracking up, but at the end of the day, I think this is a pass for me. All right, so the first thing I thought was really kind of disappointing in this game is the lack of story. I felt like the game was first trying to go for like something kind of philosophical, because you have this disembodied voice basically saying like, oh, how humans will just kind of fumble around solving puzzles and touch whatever they see and blah blah blah. But then the voice was gone. It was only in like the first like 2 episodes, and then nothing. You know, it kind of was like, oh, I felt like there's going to be some sort of story or an overall purpose as to what I'm doing and why I exist. But no, there was nothing.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. I forgot about it too until we started playing again with Keith, and we started at the beginning, and I was like, oh, there was actually some voice acting.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It should have been around a little bit more. I could have sworn it came up at least a little later in the game, but I do agree that there wasn't enough of it. I felt like it was just kind of it was a quick way out of creating a story, and I know you hate this about games when they don't have a story, but for me, I guess that didn't really matter. I think it would have been cool. I think that's, since I compared it to the Talos Principle, and we played that, 2 weeks ago, it was definitely a missing factor. I will agree with you on this one.
I feel like they should have just not had it.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. I felt like it was a tease.
Yeah, because it was kind of funny even. Like, it had that fourth wall breaking, kind of making fun of you as the player, that you're kind of just the dumb human that you're playing as, and then kind of disappeared.
I was also kind of hoping that they would maybe explain the reason behind the name of the game, because I also got to say, I hate the name of this game. Like, humans : fall flat. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. It's kind of a minor gripe, but for me, I was just kind of hoping something more from it. But, I mean, the whole purpose you're playing this game is because of the physics-based puzzles. And I gotta say, the game does a pretty good job. I really liked that each world was kind of something different. It was like, clearly had a theme and would teach you kind of the mechanics of the theme of the world. And you basically just did the puzzles.
Yeah, because they have like construction, Aztec, they have a rainy, or no, not a rainy, a dark one. So
Dark, ice, construction, power plant, I don't know. There's a bunch. There's actually quite a bit, which I like the variance in them.
I think it would have been cool if you could choose different characters and have like slightly different abilities. Like had one that kind of like stretches or something.
Well, all you could do was customize your character, which I like the customization in this game.
I thought it was really cool. My character was pretty awesome.
I mean, I was a dog, so you can't really ever go wrong with that. And then I was Christmas colored, so I was a Christmas pup.
I, at one point, was a present, and then I was a giant pudding ball, which was awesome.
You were really more like a hastily wrapped Christmas mummy.
At one point, I was a ghost dog. It was completely white. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that thing creeped me out. I still don't like that.
So, I mean, I like the customization because whenever you played online, you could actually see a lot of people's freaky creations. And I will say that's another thing I like about this game is that it's still kind of being supported because I only feel like it was a couple months ago where they actually announced that it was online multiplayer was available. Because before it was only local co-op, which was fine, but it does, when it comes to 2019, like, you know, the internet's a thing. You kind of want to play with your friends that aren't in the room with you. So I like that they added online co-op. Which, did you guys do much of the online co-op? Did you guys try playing with 8 people?
Because I was just really bad at the game. I enjoyed it, especially playing with you guys. But honestly, you guys were mostly solving the puzzles, and I was goofing around throwing you off the cliff and stuff.
As you tend to do.
Yeah, so
you know, us working hard and you just slowing us down. Sounds like you.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, for me, I just wasn't good enough that I was comfortable playing online. I watched you play online with strangers.
Yeah, it's a madhouse.
And they were really bad too. You were like, why are they struggling so hard with this? So for me, I was
it's a simple puzzle of like carrying logs over a cliff, but there's 8 people. And of course, you're bound to get like 1 or 2 people that are just like young kids. I went one game where the host was a young kid, and he just thought it was hilarious to keep restarting the level. And so you're just like floating in the sky, and I was like, wow, this is infuriating. I'm done with this one. But yeah, it was like a simple tossing logs over like a small gap, and everyone's struggling with it. It was kind of bad. So I didn't care to play with 8 random people, but it was nice playing with you, with Liz and Keith, all you guys online. That was actually pretty fun.
That was definitely the best part of this game, and I know I said it earlier, but I don't know. I found it could be kind of fun, and I found myself into some fun situations, and what I liked a lot about this game is that there was just no real, like, there was always one way to solve a puzzle, but there was 100 different ways to solve just about every puzzle. And
yeah.
Some of them was just kind of by accident or breaking something that I think even like you almost broke the game itself.
Yeah.
Like where, yeah, you could just kind of glitch your way through something. Maybe you weren't supposed to, but yeah, it was just a lot of fun to try different things. And there was no penalties really for failing, so.
No, not at all. That's actually one of my favorite things was failing. Because whenever your character died, you would just fall through the map, but then instantly like reappear above the map and fall slamming into the ground. And it actually was like the most interesting death sequence in a game. And this game has very little load times. The loading time is just you falling through the sky, which I actually really liked. I thought it was a cool design.
I did
yeah,
too.
I think at most it's like when you go to the next level, you get a slight 10-second loading screen at most, and then yeah, you just come flying into the ground. So that's where I think the human fall flat comes from, because you fall flat every time.
I guess, but it's just, I don't know.
I know it's a weak
it is
correlation, but I guess that's it.
That was my guess too, and I was like, that's weak. Like, why'd you name the game after that? Because your guy is made out of like jelly and just kind of falls on the ground. But I gotta ask you guys, what was your favorite puzzle world in this game?
Ooh.
Mine, I think, was later in the game. I really liked Power Plant. I played that with you, Keith.
Yeah,
that one was a lot of fun because it had like vehicles in it, and it actually had like interesting battery and wire mechanics. I actually thought that was kind of fun.
I know you're gonna disagree.
Yes,
because
I disagree.
It's the water level.
Oh, I was gonna say actually, yeah, that was my least favorite. Can games please stop doing a water level? It's not necessary to have it in every stinking game.
No, and I agree. Part of the issue is that you were going for an achievement on it, and we could have done that in a much easier and quicker fashion if we had just taken the motorboat that was available to us at the very beginning. But I do agree with you otherwise.
That's not my only complaint about that level. Because at one point you got to get in a cargo ship and deliver the cargo ship into the bay. Then you got to get a crane, lower the crane, hook each one of the hooks onto the box, raise it, lower it to another area, and then do it again. Like that's what I mean when I didn't like about this game. Some puzzles are just work. Like,
see, but that's what I liked about this game
puzzle.
is that, but it wasn't super easy work though. And I get your point that yeah, you're just doing work, but half the fun of it was fighting through that your body in the game just doesn't want to cooperate with anything you want to do. So I get it. It was tedious to a certain extent, but it was kind of fun and I thought pretty satisfying when I got it right. Or not necessarily right, but...
Well, we cheated. Since there was 2 of us, we just had to do 1 crate, and you lifted me over on the crate, and then you were able to just spawn with me.
Sure,
so
but that's part of what I had said earlier about the game, is that there wasn't just one way to beat the game. Yeah, that would have been a nightmare solo.
Which I thought it was actually solo at first.
Well, good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll buy you a cookie next time I see you.
Please do.
Aside from that, I didn't think it was that bad.
It was weird for me because I thought some levels the repetition really bothered me, and other levels I actually thought it was kind of fun. So the one that we all played together, I think it was called Mountain, where you're jumping from a bunch of different rocks. I loved that. Even when I'd fall over and have to start over, I still enjoyed it. But yeah, the water level, I can't row a boat and Sea of Thieves, let alone this game. I can't do it. It's just not going to ever happen. And so for me, I hated it in that level. I didn't finish that level. I ended up skipping.
I did like the mountain level a lot, though, Liz, to your point. It was another one of those levels that was just kind of a tedious, just jump, pull, jump, pull.
Yeah, it was basic, but for some reason I really enjoyed it.
But I liked the little hidden side quests that you could do within a map, like finding the gems within that mountain. Like the 3 of us did that together, and that was actually kind of hard, but kind of fun, because we had to coordinate who was finding the gems and how many we had and all that.
Yeah, I was just walking around in the dark trying to find them, and then I gave up and let you guys do it. And then just started hopping around.
But the other thing I do like about the levels is that this game actually has 2 free DLC maps, which is nice. It's kind of like what I was saying, that I like that this developer is still working on this game and adding new features to it. Yeah, they added an ice map and they added a steam map.
Oh, well, you must be excited because you love ice maps. That's another one of your favorite classic levels.
Yes, but at least this one the mechanics aren't as obnoxious. I'd rather deal with ice than water. Luckily, at least with the water map, it didn't deal with physics of swimming underwater, but it's still just annoying. Like you said, I was doing that rowboat. It was frustrating. It was just work. Hurt my fingers.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your fingers do get really sore in this game if you play for too long. Or at least mine did.
I didn't feel like it was that bad. I feel like some tasks, yeah, like trying to row a boat, which actually I never did. But I did get really good at holding the steering wheel with my left arm and then controlling the power of a vehicle with my right arm. I was pretty on point with that.
So overall, though, what did you guys think of the difficulty of this game? So, as we said, it is a puzzle game. So we did just recently do another puzzle game of Talos Principle. What did you guys think of the puzzles of this game?
I thought there was a similar jump with Talos in this, because I thought that they went from incredibly easy, and the spike in difficulty, I think, went up quite a bit. I forget what it was. I think it was the wire one and the one before. Not that the wire one was crazy hard, but the one before was so much easier. So for me, I just thought it was kind of weird.
So I think those 2 games, because I don't know, you keep comparing Talos Principle and this, they're uniquely different, but the difficulty in this, I don't think it got too much harder, only because you never gained any new skills. If anything, you kind of just got a new mechanic in the game that you had to figure out, but none of them seemed overly difficult.
I feel like in this one, I got lazy with it. If I couldn't figure something out, I just wanted to look it up because I just couldn't be bothered. And I think that was another big problem that I had, is I just couldn't keep interest in the game when I wasn't playing with you guys.
Overall, I didn't think the puzzles were that hard in this game. As Keith kind of said, the main challenge of this game is just trying to deal with the physics of your jelly body that you have. But for the most part, I thought it was pretty easy to kind of see a room and be like, okay, I need to do this. I felt like the more difficult part of the game was trying to figure out where to go. Because, there's some areas where you start and you're like, what path am I supposed to take? Where am I going? Where is the exit in this world? So it's kind of frustrating on moments of that. But I felt like for the most part, if you just kind of looked at the area, you could be like, okay, I need to get that open and I need to use those levers.
Well, I will say this is actually the one thing that was probably one of my biggest gripes about the gameplay. Aside from just reloading a checkpoint, there was no way to get around anywhere at all with any speed. It was just, you had your very slow waddle. You couldn't increase it. So there needed to be something of that, I guess, is what I would liked. And so it made it a little bit daunting to think, well, let me try and run over to this side of the map if it was open. But I actually think one of the best things, kind of a trick you could pull, was if you weren't sure, just find a quick place you could jump off. And as you would fall back down to where you were, you could get a quick overview of the map. So you could kind of see where things were.
I mean, you could also just press start and restart checkpoint. That does the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, that you can do that if you don't have anywhere near there. And you don't always want to do load checkpoint because sometimes
that's true.
you might have completed something.
Puzzle.
Yeah. So boo on you.
I also felt like the jump could have been a lot better. You can jump in this game, but it sucks.
It does, but it's effective for what it needs to be because they don't give you less than you need, I guess.
I just feel like my legs would just hit things. I would try to jump on something and I would just like stumble into it. So for me, it was just, I don't know. I thought that it was kind of useless. Unless you're jumping from like something that's a lot higher to something that's lower and you just jump and then grab on, then it's kind of useful.
I kind of got to a point where if I couldn't make something after 5 jumps, then I assumed I wasn't supposed to do it, and I moved on. That was kind of my rule. And you kind of start to learn what things are within your height range and from where to.
I mean, I thought all the actual like physical mechanics in this game I thought worked well. Yeah, you jumped kind of small, but like the whole purpose was you to kind of just grab a ledge and learn to pull yourself up, which was a fun mechanic, actually. I actually thought it was kind of interesting. It was kind of frustrating when, like, your character is just slightly below and can't quite get over the ledge. Nothing was more infuriating than that, because you'd have to fall down and start all over again.
I never knew if I was just bad at jumping or if I wasn't supposed to do it. That was the problem with me.
I mean, probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I know you guys touched base a little bit with this, but do you think this game was really worth your time at all if it was single player?
If it was only single player?
Yes.
I still think so, because I think games like this, just puzzle games, can be, but I thought it just made it much more interesting when you had people to play with, because you could do more fun things, whether it was just messing around or actually made puzzles, I don't know, just more interesting.
For me, I think that I would have just wanted to do a couple of levels and then just been done, but I do think that learning the mechanics, and it's just a very different gameplay than things that we've played before. So for me, I'm glad that I experienced it, and I would have played the first couple levels, but then after that, I would have no interest. So I'm glad I played it. It's not a game that I'd play for more than half an hour.
I feel like a half hour is like the first level at best.
I mean, that's one thing I kind of do like about this game is that it is a bit short. Like, you can kind of knock out a level within, like, a half hour. And I think there's, like a good 12, 15 levels. So, like, the game isn't too long. But like I said, it was just some of those levels, like, I just felt like it was work.
Well, for me, I said half an hour because playing with Andrew, like, he knows all the levels. He's played it multiple times. So we went through the levels a lot quicker with you, I think.
Yeah, but those are also the starting levels. They're not very hard.
I think the first level actually is a good, like, 5-10 minutes. Like, they actually are really quick at the very beginning, and they build up. But all in all, I think the longest level might have taken us an hour that we went through. And that was probably because I was doing a lot of screwing around.
You don't have to cover for it, Keith. You know it was Liz who's doing the screwing around.
Well, it was. But it was always fun to throw Liz off the ledge when she was, getting out of line.
I feel like you tried a lot and failed a lot, though. Because you ended up falling over, but I would grab onto something. So, I don't know. I think I taught you a lesson, Keith.
Oh, I wasn't worried about falling off. I just wanted to throw you off because it was funny.
I think we have video footage of that, too.
We do. Yeah, on my stream.
One of these days, I'll do something.
Yeah, if you guys check it out, look at my character. So cool.
The next thing I wanted to ask you guys is, what did you guys actually think of the art style of this game?
I thought it was actually really cool. It wasn't very good graphically by any means. I wouldn't say it was, going to win any awards for that. But I actually thought it fit what it was. It was just very cartoony.
Some levels I liked more than others. I feel like I keep saying that with like every aspect of the game. But there is the construction one that I thought was really kind of basic looking. And it kind of reminded me of like minimalism in a video game, I guess. But then there were other ones like the mountain one, the dark level, levels like that I really enjoyed the look of.
Overall, I mean, I thought the graphics of this game are pretty good. I mean, I think they're okay, actually, I should say. because there's nothing special about the actual environment, but what I liked, it made it easy to figure out what was important in the puzzle. Like, yeah, you'd be in an area where there's some trees and stuff like that, but you could clearly be like, okay, I need to use that log for something. I need to use that block for something. So I like that the graphics made it easy to distinguish what you needed to do to solve the puzzle.
So basically you didn't have to think, and you liked that.
Says the guy who has YouTube up and just cheats on
I
Talos
actually
Principle.
only looked up one thing on YouTube, and it was how to get an achievement, and I just couldn't do it, so I gave up.
But, I mean, that's because you mostly played with me, and I solved all the puzzles for you.
Yeah, but I was the one figuring out the achievements, so get out of here.
But the thing I normally got to agree with you on this one, Keith, because I know you say it almost all the time with every game, and the music, it's basically there.
Yeah, that's mostly what I would attribute it to. Every now and then I would notice it, like if we, kind of took a quick break.
Tranquil.
Yeah, it was nice. It wasn't annoying in the background, but largely it was just there.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it sounds like. So for me, it was good enough that I clearly didn't hate it, and it was bad enough that I don't remember it.
I mean, it was kind of almost non-existent, which I think is kind of unfortunate. I always hate when a game just, like, cheaps out on music, too. I feel like this game cheaped out on a lot of things.
Yeah, but if this was the only game they've ever made, I kind of assume it's a pretty small studio. Not that gives gives a pass on everything, obviously, because I think we talk about that too much sometimes. But I give them a little slack on that.
But what did the game excel at? That's the big question. What is the reason why people should
Shenanigans.
play
Yeah,
it?
this game is a ton of fun to
that's it.
play with friends. It's
Yep, it
Is that
excels.
the only thing it's excelled at?
The puzzles were inventive.
yeah, I thought it was unique. It was the fact that it was more based around physics than here's a new element that we're going to add to the game. I thought it was very unique, and it made it a lot of fun.
Meh.
Oh, but Liz, now you got to tell us, did you find any glitches this game?
I don't think so. No.
Oh.
I mean, I found a couple, but I think the glitches in this game more added to the charm than they were actually, like, game-breaking glitches.
What glitches did you find?
I mean, because this game's all about, like, physics and, like, moving things. So any glitch I had were normally kind of clipping issues. I think I had one time where a block fell through the map, but they generally respawn if they fall through the map. But there was a couple times my leg actually went in my body, so my character's walking around with one leg. But it wasn't anything game-breaking, but... So overall, I'm surprised. We may have found another game, Keith. Liz did not break.
To be honest, though, I didn't play this game a ton. Like, I didn't play it as much as, say, Secret Neighbor.
But you definitely played 5 hours.
No, I did, but usually I play more for the game, for the podcast. And for me, I think this week I probably did put in, like, just the 5 hours. I was very bored with it when I wasn't playing with you. And I would go to different levels and I'd be like, oh, this is boring. I try another level. Oh, this is boring. So, yeah, for me, I kind of did the bare minimum. And you really don't need to play a lot of the game to understand if you like it or not. I mean, every level kind of is the same in a way.
Yeah. I mean, like you kind of asked Liz, what does this game excel with? I think, for one, it excels really well with playing with friends. And the other thing I think it excels really well at is achievements.
But I don't think it's... Sorry to interrupt real quick, but I don't think that is really something to be proud to excel with, because it's not the gameplay itself with friends that makes it great. It's your friends that make it great. So you guys
You could argue
were
that with
really...
Sea of Thieves, too, though.
No, because with Sea of Thieves, you need people who are really good at the game in order to do well.
Not necessarily. I played with you guys.
Wow. Okay.
That's rude.
No, but what I mean is, like, our shenanigans, like, we created. The game didn't create it. So it had good gameplay with your friends, but it wasn't any of their doing.
Yeah, but see, I think I know where Andrew's going with this as far as the achievements. This game does...
Yeah, Liz ruined my segue.
Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I'm bringing it right on back because I know where you're going with this. This game, the achievements were awesome because it made you do fun things with the game. And that's
Yes.
also going back to my point of something that I think this game excelled at, was giving you so many different ways to beat a level. But
Yeah, because the achievements gave you it for doing those, like, little cheats.
I feel like some you definitely had to look up though, and for me, I just couldn't be. I don't bother looking up achievements for the game. Like I like when they happen naturally, and so obviously you get achievements when you beat a level and stuff like that. But a lot of achievements that you guys were doing, I just didn't care. But
You were just in our game and getting them.
yeah, the fantastic thing when you play with your friends is that if they get an achievement, you get an achievement, so you can put in zero effort.
well, there is a couple
Way to
as
go,
far
Liz.
as, how many meters you run and how many times you die and things like that count yourself individually, but otherwise, yes.
I like you just admitted that you did 0 effort in this game.
Liz just watched us play
Oh,
this
totally
game for
admit it.
5 hours and occasionally tried to pull Andrew off of cliffs.
I taught you guys patience, you know? I had a reason.
Again, we played Sea of Thieves with you, Liz, so we understand patience.
I wasn't bad with Sea of Thieves, okay?
You were bearable. I'm just kidding. You were a great assistant.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would actually do stuff. I wouldn't be, like, watching something or doing something on the side and leave you hanging. You know?
That's true.
So unappreciative.
I mean, but I feel like while me and Keith were trying to go for the achievements of this game, you're grabbing us or throwing us and like basically ruining it. We're trying to go for
You
achievements.
guys needed a challenge.
It definitely added
But,
a challenge to the game.
But as Keith said, I liked that this game, the achievements really kind of made you do something. Some of them were frustrating. Like, sure enough, like as Keith said, at the water level, you have to row in a rowboat, which in a physics-based game is really hard to row a rowboat. So that was a frustrating achievement. But I felt like the more people you had, the easier it was to get achievements.
Well, yeah, because you could string along different things, or, you know, someone could be off putting debris inside of a dumpster while someone else is figuring out the map or doing another achievement. So, yeah, it definitely had those things to it.
So overall for achievement hunters, though, I think I would recommend this game. If you have a couple friends to play with, you guys, as Keith said, you can knock out quite a bit of achievements. And the levels aren't very long, so it takes time, and some of the achievements you'll have to look up, but I didn't think any of them were too exceptionally hard to do.
No, I think some of the hardest ones, aside from, you know, I think a couple on the water level, like you pointed out, were really just about the stat-based ones, which were, you know, how many meters your character traveled, how many respawns you had, things like that you had to rack up. So this game actually does track a lot of them. I guess I wouldn't say many of them are all that interesting, but I did find out that one of our listeners out there, Curtis, he has actually played this game a lot more than us. So yeah, this is a direct shout out. We're expecting to hear from you on this game. But that being said, yeah, congratulations, because aside from achievements, unfortunately, which I helped Andrew get a lot of, you've got the top of all of our stats on this game. So
Yeah, see? So you clearly didn't help me that much, because I still beat you.
yeah, you had 730, he had 680, and then I was a close third there at 630. So, you know, get over yourself. You weren't that great.
What about Liz?
Oh,
You don't want
Liz
to.
existed, as we decided. Let me go.
Was it like 300 or something?
Yeah, about that.
I thought I looked it up.
350.
Not bad.
Yeah, you exist.
Considering I gave
Somehow
zero
she
effort, I mean,
only
that's not
died
bad.
6 times. She had 6 respawns.
You tried to kill me a lot, Keith, so that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that definitely can't be right.
It can't be. Or Liz just stood around on main platforms and never tried to jump across ledges.
Also possible.
But yeah, I feel like overall there really isn't too much to talk about with this game, because overall I don't think there is much to this game. So I guess wrapping up into our final thoughts, Liz, what did you think of Human Fall Flat?
Oh, I didn't want to go first. I want to go last.
It's your game.
So I get to pick.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I like you guys keep making up rules. When Keith's host, Keith's like, I'm host. I get to pick the order. And now you're like, it's my pick. I get to pick the order.
You know, just because
Fine.
you're back talking, you're going first,
You
Andrew.
know, fine. Just like everything else in this podcast, I'll go first. So for me, this game, I had fun with it. It just, near the end, to me, it was getting tedious. Some of the puzzles were pretty fun, kind of had me scratching my head, but at the end of some of the puzzles, I was just like, man, that was just a lot of work. Like, that wasn't really enjoyable. I enjoyed some of the environments that they had. Like, I really enjoyed the castle level. That was probably one of my other favorite, because you're playing with catapults, which is like kind of a cool mechanic in the game. But yeah, then you had some levels that I just thought were frustrating, like water. And so the levels can be kind of varied, but overall, this game is a lot of fun with friends. If you just have at least one friend that you love screwing around with, I think this is a really fun game. As Liz said, if you're just drinking a couple beers and just kind of playing around, it's a lot of fun. So overall, I think I give this game a 70. I liked it, but at the end of the day, if I never played this game, I don't think I missed much.
I'm still not over your phrasing there.
Which one?
Friend that you just really like to screw around with. Just makes me uncomfortable.
I was
I
gonna
didn't
say
even notice.
I was gonna say a friend you like to play with.
That's not any better.
I know. So I ended up going with screwing around with.
Anywho. So, I think this game, I thought it really was good overall. It was exactly what it advertised itself as, I think. It didn't try to be...
Really? Humans falling flat? That's what it advertised itself as?
No, but if you had ever watched any of the trailers for the game, it's kind of what it was. But one thing that I think you were right about, and that the trailers also showed, this game is played best as like a party game. Play it with your friends. It's a lot of fun. You could play up to 8, which I don't think would be fun, because then it would just be too many people trying to ruin things. But hey.
I mean, if you have actual 8 personal friends, it would be fun. But playing with random people...
Yeah, that could be true. But I still think it's still more, you have to level a little bit of chaos if you want to play that. But all in all, I definitely say it's a ton of fun. And I would give it a solid 78.
Oh, wow. So, I wish I could score them separately. Because playing with you guys, I think it would be like closer to like an 80, because I had so much fun. But if I was playing with other people besides you, and I had to do work, I don't like doing work in a game that I'm not enjoying. If I was playing with other people and I had to do work, like you tend to do in video games, I'd have given it much lower.
Yeah, you can only give 1 score. So, we let you do a gamer pass in 2 sections. I know. So, yeah, we're cutting you off.
I just complimented you guys. Don't be rude.
Okay, you can get 2 scores.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go... I was originally going to give it a 65. I think I'm going to go 68.
If you played solo?
If I played solo.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't enjoy it when I was playing by myself. If I find excuses like, oh, I should do the dishes, it's a game I'm not really enjoying. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a 68.
So what's your score for playing with friends?
No.
I mean, you make the rules, so you might as well do it.
Yeah, 75. Well,
you said you would have given it 80.
Side quest, though, I need to have 1 score. So my 1 score is 68. But I'd say 75 overall with other people, 80 with you guys. So, but looking at Metacritic, Xbox 73 for critics, 6.4 for users. And then I always like to see like PC and Switch. PC 70 and 7.7. Switch, I think this game would be awful on Switch. 65 and 6.8, which is weird because some games are great on Switch, like Slay the Spire, which we've played before for the podcast. I don't think this game would be good on Switch.
I don't think it would either, because you really need to use triggers in this game. The Switch has terrible triggers.
I mean, you can get the Pro Controller or whatever, right?
Yeah, but why spend extra money for this game?
Exactly. So, looking at some of the comments, one of the users on PC, most of the people were just describing their kind of take on the game. Someone wrote, if you're into slapstick, sandbox, physics puzzle games that you can play with your friends, and you either have heaps of patience or above average dexterity, then Human Fall Flat might be worth a try. Some people called it boring and unrewarding. The controls of this game are awful, frustrating ragdoll physics, and controlling Bob is like trying to get Ooze to stand at attention. So I feel like overall people were giving it like 50s and 60s. Usually it's like 0 or 10. So this game I think people had a lot of mixed feelings about.
See, I don't know why people would complain about the controls. The controls are like 3 buttons. You have a button for each of your hands and jump. Like, that's it.
You have to practice with it.
You do, but that's not the control's fault.
Exactly. And I think that if I can do it, you can do it. Ringing endorsement.
But, alright, so there you go. There's our hot take on Human Fall Flat. I have been your Hardcore Gamer host this episode, Andrew. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Please, if you would like to get a shout out on this episode, follow us on Podbean or write us a review on Apple iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it. But you can follow me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952, where I have the Mixer with the same name, and Twitter with the same name.
And I have, as always...
Nope, I'm skipping you, Keith, because you don't even bother. Liz, give us your outro.
Hate you.
Yeah, you don't deserve one, Keith.
And I'm Liz the Noob, gamertag coming on Dean. And I'm on Twitter at Liz the Noob, Noob is EW. And you gave your Twitter, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
I was half paying attention. Tweet him and tell him that you want some videos of Apex. They need to play more of it.
And I'm Keith. You can follow me on Xbox Live at Little Fluffy. I also have a Twitter with the same name. Thanks, Keith. That was a great outro.
Bye, everybody.
Alright, we hope to see you all next week.
I already said bye.
Bye.